Stream. All right. Well, guys, haven't seen a day like this for a while. And by that, I mean, here are the ones that are up this morning. Few. Look at all the ones that are down. I don't know if it's all to do with China or not, but man, oh man, we've got a lot of stocks that are down right now. It's starting, you can see where the SPY is. So let's take a look at some of the activity this morning. We've got, now I'd be watching this Beyond Meat, of course, a big successful IPO from last week. I'd be watching this one. If you have shorts available, I have shorts available in Interactive Brokers. So you're watching this one. This is obviously weak right now. AQ is a gap up on a buyout, a 1325 buyout by MRVL. MRVL buying them for $13.25 a share. AXSM gapped up on, they say they're accelerating. They were going to be releasing their phase 3 results, and I guess they've accelerated that. They've moved the timeline up for that. So that's why this one is a bit of a jolt this morning. Let's see, AMTX. Let's see, they got a $23 million contract. I guess their Indian subsidiary they had in India. So they got a $23 million contract, plus they gapped up through the 200-day moving average. So, and it's a relatively low float, 16 million in the float. That's AMTX. Pinterest, of course, IPO'd a couple of weeks ago, getting weak, a little bit weak, along with the rest of the market. ESPR, they gapped up on new drug acceptance by the FDA, NDA, the FDA. So that's why they have gapped up. Relatively low float too, 24 million in the float. I don't think we have Freds in Canada, but boy, oh boy, this looks like it's going the way of Rite Aid. Look at Fred. Massive gap down on whatever earnings they had. Take it to the tech support guys, okay? If you're having trouble, other than just stock ideas, take everything else to the tech support, linking TI to EOS, things like that, okay? Thank you. This could be interesting. Solo, I haven't seen this one for a while. They received, I guess they've got the consumer rebate designation from California. Of course, it's an electric car out of Canada. And I know they did a financing a while back, a few weeks ago at 360, I believe the financing was at 360. Really hasn't shaken out from that area, but that is the reason for the gap up this morning. Actually did gap up right here, 364, and it's pulled back. CAMT, CAMT has gapped down on earnings. Not too many earnings plays in the pre-market right now. But again, we'll have about 1,000 this week, so we're going to be very active. Zyne, this is a tough one, but Zyne received fast track designation from the FDA. Tough one in that it looked like it was really finally going to clear out of that 12 area. Popped up to 13, and then it just, look what it did last week. I mean, it got all the way down underneath 10 again, so it can be really choppy. Ovid, it's giving it up quite a bit here. I mean, there's the pop up to 270, and it's back down to 210, gapped up on phase 2 results. Yeah, all the scans. Who asked that question? Amy. So all the scans are here. This is the in that half open, looks like a half open folder it's called Room Drive. Just click on that and scans that I share, and the Pitbull scan is in there. All right, just click on the download. Well, I'm going to answer that he doesn't know. This is just, yeah, they look good, so they're on watch. He doesn't know for sure. Nobody knows anything for sure. No, don't be sorry. It's it's just like I'm saying. All these pre-market, all the stuff we're doing in the pre-market. I mean, they're stocks of interest because they're moving in the pre-market. Doesn't mean they're going to continue. Some might, some may not. And so I know there's some China talk, so that might be the reason for some of the market weakness. There was some China talk, negotiations stalling again, something to that effect. I think I read something like that yesterday. And the trade of the week is TEL, T-E-L, trade of the week, and the live at 95.89. Trade it as you wish, but that is the trade of the week. Well, then zoom in. Left click on the chart. Press down on the control key on your keyboard. Keep it pressed down, and then the scroll wheel on your mouse. You can make the candles as wide or as thin as you want. All right. Yeah, AMTX. Yeah, we received a $23 million from the Indian government. Pop through the 200-day moving average. So taking a look at some of the IPOs from last week that were pretty successful, there's looking like a lot of them were starting to fade. Not a lot of them, well, a couple of them anyway. SY and TMDX starting to fade. Well, and also the Beyond Meat, the BYND. So I don't know what you mean by my window is a single one. How do I, at the one in the live trading room? I'm not sure I know what you mean, Chris. Are you talking here where you have options? If you can find the little sandwich board, and the page layouts, presentation only, alerts and chat only, alerts only. Is that what you mean? The page all in one? Is that what you mean? Yeah, Beyond Meat is definitely a weakening. So So you're talking, okay, so are you talking about, oh, you're talking about your trade ideas. Okay, so if you, what I've done is, if you go to the Room Drive, and that icon right there that says Room Drive, looks like a half open folder. If you click on that, and you'll see scans that I share. So I actually think I have a layout, a little layout that you can actually, you know, so it'll be multiple windows, or you can pick and choose scans that might look interesting to you. All right. And hopefully I've labeled them so that they kind of make sense. Okay. So all you have to do is just click on that Room Drive and click on the download. You'll see all the scans that I'm sharing. Oops. All right, let me see what sort of upgrades and downgrades we have this morning. Yes. You're talking about the app, no, not the web-based. Well, you can download them from both, but I'm assuming you're talking about the app, right? The application. Yes, you can. And I'm talking to you, Chris. Get some of the upgrades and downgrades in. The IMGN has a couple of upgrades. I'm getting HUYA is starting to fall here. I think a lot of these China stocks, guys. I mean, HUYA. I think the IQ. Okay, get some of the downgrades in now. Just a few more to go. So both QD and a couple of China stocks are starting to really drift down now. All right, there you have some of the upgrades and downgrades as brought to you by briefing.com this morning. Okay, Jason, if you're having problems, I can't help you. I don't know why you're having problems. So what you should do is, I'm just going to give you the homepage link and start a live chat. Okay. Just tell them you're having problems. Make sure you give them the email that you used to sign up for it. Just let me give you the link for it. Okay. And by the way, welcome to the anybody's on the test drive. This first couple of days, I'll probably be a little bit light on my own trading, trying to help people understand how to use the program. So don't be afraid to ask me questions all the time. How do you access the downgrade? It's just a free service from briefing.com. You can sign up for it. All right. Briefing.com. There are many sites out there that have upgrades and downgrades. This is the one I use because they deliver it to me every morning at 9:10 to my email. Well, these are not picks. These are just stocks that have gapped up. 78%. Doesn't mean it's a pick. Doesn't mean these are just stocks that are of interest in the pre-market. What happens once the market opens is anybody's guess. Okay. What we're trying to do is put the odds on our side. So when you look at this, you can see right there, on the weekly chart, a little bit choppy, but it does have some room if it wants to keep moving. 241 is spike up there in the weekly chart. Look at it on the daily. It gapped through the 200-day moving average. Right there, there's a 200-day moving average right there. So it's gapped up through it. So obviously it could be very interesting. Good news for it, $23 million contract. Low float, 16 million in the float. So, it has a lot of things going forward. But, once the market opens, in fact, what I'm going to do is just going to put an alert, the high of the pre-market, see if it takes that out. So just looking at some of the ones that are, so we got some other ones. So yeah, look at these, a lot of China stocks, obviously, with the potential tariffs again. So there's HUYA, there's Billy, BILI, IQ, I think PDD. I think PDD is China. Just looking at the gappers. Yeah. I'll get the gappers up soon, but you can just see, there's QDD, HUYA, Billy, IQ, PDD, JD. These are all China stocks gapping down. So Chris, all you do, by the way, if you click, I'll put a link in the room just for show you how do you do this. So when you actually click on one of those links from here, so the scans that are shared, and you click on the download, and you see the links, you can click on the link, or you can copy and paste it into your browser. And once you do that, if you go file load from cloud, most of the time you'll see that string right in here, all right? If you don't, if for some reason it's blank, then just paste it in and click load, and then it'll appear on your screen. That's how you basically load a link. And that's why you can pick and choose the links that you want. And once you've done that, and I'm going to go over the channels. Once you've done that, you can select the links that you want. They'll all appear on your monitor, and then you can do a save. Save. Click on entire layout, give it a name, and save it. Everything you do in the test drive this week, if you save everything to the cloud, it'll be there for you if you do want to take out a subscription at any point in time. It doesn't have to, you know, it could be a year from now, it could be like next week. As long as you use the same email to sign up for a subscription as you use for the test drive, you can access everything you're doing this week. All right? All right, let me get rid of my pre-market and get the gap downs. You can see there are probably more gap downs and gapping up. Look at the market, what it's doing. Yeah, there's PRPO. They did the reverse split last week. Repeat what do you want me to repeat, Williams? Okay, so if you see a link, so there's a link. I just put the link in here. If you click on it, it'll go into your browser, more than likely. And then if you just copy it, control copy. Okay, so now my link is copied. Now, if I click on File, Load from Cloud, you'll notice there's the string here. It's already in here. Now, if it wasn't in here, for some reason it's blank, you just Control V, paste it in, and then load. And that's how you load. That's how you load the links that you see. So very easy to share with Trade Ideas. No, I mean, look at the gap down and gap ups. They're populating right now. You know, the earnings populating right now. You know, it depends. I mean, I have here in my configure, I have set for pre-market lows as one of my alerts. You know, so if I select that, then I'm going to see pre-market lows with these filters. You know, they have to satisfy these filters, and that's why I see these in the pre-market. This is probably not. I don't have it. Yeah, I just have it live during market hours. If I clicked on live always, but I probably have a filter in there that's preventing it. But no, you can see things in the pre-market, of course. All right, so JT, you should be using Chrome as your browser. And if you're using Chrome as your browser, then go to your Chrome settings. So the browser settings, click on that. Scroll to the bottom, click on Advanced, and then scroll down a little bit more, and you should see somewhere where it says Hardware Accelerator, and disable it. Disable your Hardware Accelerator. Once you do that, then just reload your browser, and everything should be fine. All right? All right, everybody, we are just about ready to open, so let's have a great start to this trading week. Again, for all the people on the test drive, and even others, you know, this is the week where I spend more time answering questions. Less trading, more questions, which is absolutely fine. Excuse me, absolutely fine. We have a swing trading tab here also. All right, so if you're interested in swing trading, you can come in here, discuss your ideas. I put a link in here that might help. get you started with some swing trading ideas. All right, so things are fast and furious right now. All right, there's AMTX, guys. AMTX took out the pre-market high right now. Yeah, it must be based on your criteria, Major. Let's see, CHSP gapped up, really didn't have, well, had a little bit of activity in the pre-market. But right now, it's all about China. HUYA, Billied. And as usual, even if I am going to trade, I usually sit out the first 15 minutes, let things settle down a little bit. Yeah, look at the Zine. Zine is a messy, messy, messy trader. Another China stock, PPDF. Yeah, nice break on the weekly for IMGN and the daily, of course. Good volume. Big float, though. 132 million in the fall. I don't see any specific news for it. I see some upgrades. I don't see any specific news other than upgrades, etc. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Obviously, a lot of room. All right, well, guys, that's why you don't do it right off the bat. I mean, look at Beyond Meat; it is now starting to bounce back. I mean, that's a big bounce, almost a $4 bounce. CAMT remains weak here. This has room, 890. So on the weekly chart, you can see right there, has some room. It's an earnings play. It continues to move down. Volume is starting to pick up. CAMT. Yeah, not a bad spread. 4-cent spread for CAMT also. Yeah, nicely done. That is definitely popping. It's not waiting for any sort of a pullback yet anyway for the IMGN. No news. Just upgrades. Wainwright, Cowan. Maybe keep an eye on the MRVL. These are the guys in a company that is buying AQ. Typical reaction. The acquiring company gaps down. It's starting to recover here. MRVL. Okay, a bit of a rocky one so far for the ESPR. Made a bottoming tail there. A little bit choppy, but starting to move now. China stock still weak here, PPDF. Wow, look at MTOR. Big move down here for MTOR. It is not shortable. I know. I saw that. Not yet, anyway. So we're getting some bounces here. Look at SQ, square one, or square Inc. Little bouncy. Look at the market trying to bounce anyway. If you go to the new channel bar, if you go to the new and go to channel bar and click on Omni AI, that will show you the three Hollies. Okay, there are no alerts yet. But remember, that's a layout, so it'll replace whatever layout you've got up and running. So before you do that, save your layout. All right, PJ? Because these are, all these channels are layouts. So just, you'll have to just recognize that. You don't see Omni AI? Are you on the app or the web-based version? I thought that was there. Maybe it's not called. Okay, I just asked a question. Well, you have a channel bar though, right? If you click on the channel bar, new, I'm not in the web-based version. Okay, so you see the channel bar, you do not see something called Omni AI? Really? All right, I'm just getting, I want a confirmation of that. Otherwise, I guess you'll just have to open the three of them individually. Is there a reason why you're on the web-based version as opposed to the app? Or do you have a Mac or something? You should download the app instead of you should load the app. Okay, it's way more robust. I mean, the web-based version is fine, but the app is way more robust. Okay, so I just got the word. So the web-based version does not have the Omni channel. Just go to the download link right here. I think I've got the download up here somewhere, or is it in subscriptions? Just a second. Okay, so if you click on the subscriptions tab, see where it says download TI Pro or Beta, just click on that. And I think you're given the option of the web-based version or the app. Download the app. Yeah, right here. Just download right there. Okay, so click on that and just download. All right. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't tell me. Blend, shoot. This is the one they did the reverse split last week. So have they come up with an announcement yet? No announcement that I can see of. It was a 1 for 50 reverse split, wasn't it, last week? 1 for 50? 1 for 0, 1 for 50, yeah, huge. Yeah, 100, look at that, 151,000 shares in the float. Anything can happen out of this one. So, guy, there is a shared layout here if you want. I think I have the 3 Hollies open also if you want to try it. See, a layout for the test drive. So remember now, if you have a layout already open, if you load this layout, your layout will disappear. So make sure that you save it to the cloud. Okay, save your layout to the cloud. Just file, save, give your layout a name, click on an entire layout, give it a name and save it. Then you can, load layouts, it doesn't matter. You only have one layout loaded at a time. Well, okay, the app link is right here. It's not, I don't have to send it. It's right here in the, just click on subscription. Okay, the subscription tab, and you see where it says download TI Pro or beta, just click on that. And it's right there, all right? So look at this, we're having a lot of rebounds, guys. Lots, look at pins. Lots of rebounds here, especially with the market doing what it's doing right there. It is in the halts right there, blend, halts. You must have a filter that's preventing it. Well, you must have a filter then. Maybe you've got a higher volume or something. I don't know what to say. I mean, you can take this one. But you can see, I mean, it's right there. Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, I have my volume filter is 20,000. So if you had a higher volume, I don't know what it was at the time of the halt. It was halted at 617, so 634. I don't know what the volume was at that point. But if you have, it's, I mean, I only have one filter, and that's volume. And it's 20,000 shares, that's it. So you might have a higher volume. No, I don't use average daily volume. I don't use average daily volume at all. The reason I don't do that is because if the stock is really moving today, it's having, quote unquote, its day, you know, it's going to trade several million shares, but normally it only trades, you know, 50,000 shares a day. I just don't use the average daily because it'll prevent those stocks from showing up. I just use it. You know, I mean, that's just me. I just don't use the average daily. I'll have a minimum volume for today. You know, that's the minimum volume, but I don't care about the average, what the average volume is. Well, I mean, a lot of people do use the average volume, but all I'm saying is that then it's going to prevent those stocks that are, for whatever reason, are having, you know, their day today when they don't normally trade very much, but all of a sudden they're exploding. Now, I think a lot of people will use the average volume if they're looking for longer term plays. But if you're interested in the intraday action, I wouldn't use the average daily volume filter at all. CTRP sinking here. So I know a lot of you were looking at the IMGN. Hopefully you got in and out. You look at that big pullback, 339. Now it's starting to come back, but that came all the way back down to 3. It's a big percentage move down. So hopefully you guys were in and out of that one. Might give us another entry later, but at this point. Now Blend, what are the bid ask stacking up at? 671. So this will definitely be a positive open. If you're unaware of what the halts are basically because stock it's based on math. How quickly a stock move in a period of time. Okay, so it's just math. It's triggered in. It's not at the discretion of somebody. Oh, we're going to halt this. Typically, they're halted for 5 minutes. This is obviously more. Could be a 10-minute halt. Got halted at just after 9:40. So if it's a 10-minute halt, now it'll be open at 9:50. And what I'm looking at here is I see the bid ask stacking up 673. So you can see it got halted at 634. That's why, you know, you can predict it'll probably be a positive open. Fred in oblivion. Man. And it is actually shortable at IB. There are no Holly alerts yet. Well, only one positive sector, as you would expect, gold. It's the only sector that's positive right now, and just by a smidge. Okay, IMGN is starting to come back a bit. 2-bar pullback, not the 3-bar pullback, but a 2-bar pullback. All right, guys, Blend is now open. Wow, look at that. Remember I was saying the bid ask was stacking up, so look at this. Look at Blend. I don't see any specific reason for it, not yet anyway. I don't see a press release. They did the reverse split last week. A lot of times when they do a reverse split, the company will try to come up with any sort of a press release just to get the interest back, and but I don't see any. And now it's just got halted again, guys. All right, let's take a look at some of these earnings plays. See if so. How I've, in case you're wondering, let me just make sure this is right. Okay. I thought I had this stretched over just a little bit here. Let me just stretch this over just a little bit. Here's up and down. There we go. Move this over. All right, so how I've sorted these, the earnings plays up, earnings plays down, all right? So I've sorted them on the position in the day's range. There's a filter, there's a column right up there. So one of my, probably my most favorite filter. Because I always like to see stocks that are near the high of the day and on the flip side, near the low of the day. So you look at cost right now, it's a cheap one, but it's right near the high of the day. That's, you can tell that by that green bar is almost right over to the right-hand corner. Whereas CRNT is near the low of the day. You know, there's a little bit of space. So going forward for the balance of this week, we'll probably see this. Well, it's full now, but we'll see this will be full, because we have about 1,000 companies releasing earnings. Well, these are all, those are right here also in the Room Drive. All right, just find that icon, the Room Drive icon, half open folder. Just click on it. Scans that I share, download. Everything's there. You know, but in terms of the configuration for it, so this filter right there, make sure that earnings were after hours the day before. There won't be really any. I mean, hardly any companies release after hours on a Friday. But tomorrow you'll see a lot more. And then today, 0.25. So if you look at it, this is how we designate it. So minus 0.25 means the day before, after hours the day before, and 0.25 means pre-market. So again, tomorrow we'll see, you know, there are hardly any companies that release after hours on a Friday. So the majority of all the earnings plays are going to be releases this morning. Tomorrow, though, you know, there'll be many companies that will release after hours today. So that's the designation there, and then the minimum share value or share 100,000. And you know, this is just what I like to do, between 1 and 50. You know, that's just the range I'm looking at. You can of course adjust it. What do you mean by the configuration? It's just all you do is you just click on it. If you double left click, and it's just sorting it. That's all it's doing. So it's sorting right now, showing the stocks near the high, the ones near the high of the day's range. You can just see, I mean, even though, and it's interesting because this is, the orange means the stock is down for the day, okay? However, it's moving up because you can see that it's near the high of the day's range. If you want, You can actually see the percentage. So this is within 10% of the high of the day. I just like the graphical presentation, that's all. Well, there isn't a window. It isn't. I haven't. It's just a column. See, I don't use the filter in here. I don't use that filter. These are the filters. That's only filters I'm using. And then I just have it as a column, and I can sort on the column. Just like I could sort on the change from the close. You know, percentage. I could sort, even though I'm not using them as actual filters, but if you have them as a column, you can sort on them. That's the beauty of the top list. You can get different looks based on how you sort the columns. So even though you're not using it as a specific filter, you know, if you add them as columns, you can sort on them. No, level 2 data is, no, we don't supply level 2 data. I mean, you know, you get that from your broker if you want it. Well, as you recall, we were thinking maybe that this Beyond Meat was going to be slip, sliding away today. Not yet. Yeah, Kitan, you know what? They're getting rid of that concept of having the 3 hollies, to be honest. I can show you what they used to say, but we're getting rid of that concept of having the 3 hollies. I'll be honest, I never really agreed with it. I didn't see the need for it. But let me just, so you know what? It almost doesn't matter. But I'll see if I can post all this in. You can read it, but it almost doesn't matter anymore. They're getting rid of that concept pretty soon. Holly Grail was the original one. It just in a nutshell, Holly Grail was the original one. Holly 2.0 came along, maybe a little more aggressive, and Holly Neo was the most aggressive. Let me see if I can actually. I might have a limit on how much can be posted here. Okay, if you click on the scans, I was able to post everything. Click on scans, you'll see it's sort of jumbled all in, but I mean, you can read that. But again, we're getting rid of the concept, so. So here's another example of the ability to sort on different columns. You notice I have this one, it's called up the most percent in the last X minutes, down the most percent in the last X minutes. So I've sorted on the change in over the last 5 minutes. So these ones, PEI as an example, with the filters I have in place, you know, with these filters here, you know, between 5 and 50, 250,000 shares, I want it to be, the stock to be positive, up at least, up from the previous close. I want it to be within 10% of the high of the day. All right. This filter ensures that it'll be a stock as opposed to an ETF. So with these filters in place, now I can sort on the change in 5 minutes, or I can sort on the change in 15 minutes, change in 60 minutes. These are the ones that are up the most. Okay. So that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the columns. You can sort. And obviously this one down the most in the last 5 minutes. BRPO on a percentage basis. You want to find the ones that are up the most since January 1st, DBD. It's just different. It's just a different way of looking at things. If you're looking for like the basic new highs and lows as an example. So there's Blinn. Wow, Blinn, what is it doing now? So this is a real-time alert. So many times that's what you want. You want a real-time alert. So with these filters in place, all these filters in place, if the filters are met, then tell me when a stock makes a new high or a new low. So it's not one better than the other. It's just sort of a different way of looking at things. You know, some people just want to see, well, what stocks are up the most for the day? Just, you know, but they don't necessarily have to be making new highs, right? They could just be up the most for the day. They could be actually moving down, but they're still up the most for the day. So that's what a top list does. That's what the T windows do. They get updated every 30 seconds. Yeah, you can backtest an alert. Well, again, though, it's just a different way of looking at it. I mean, interesting. What are the ones up the most in the last 5 minutes? What are the ones up the most in the last 15? You click on it. If it's coming from a decent pattern, you might want to trade it. There has been one Holly alert. Sorry, two. So we have Neo and Matt. This is a short for Neo, 23.41 on the short. Price is 23.32 right now. There's the stop, so it's all kind of laid out for you. I'll be honest with you, I don't auto trade Holly. I never will. And I also have a certain price range of the Hollies that I like. Doesn't mean that's what you have to do. This kind of fits, you know, kind of the under 30, but even under 20 is what I like to zero in on. I use Holly as a watch list. All right. It's really that simple. I sort, you know, right now we don't have very many alerts, but I sort on the risk on profit percent all day long. Risk on meaning you're always in the trade as opposed to getting out when Holly gets out, other than a stop out. And I'll explain that. Hopefully we'll get some more alerts so I can explain that a little more fully. Well, there's obviously some filter in there that is preventing it. I don't know what else to say. You know, it's not showing up. It's not showing up here either because it wasn't a gap. You know, it wasn't a gap up. It's showing up here on the low floaters on the move though, as an example. The price was at 605, low floaters on the move. Well, that's it. It didn't gap enough anyway. You know, there's always a trade-off. People ask the question all the time, why didn't this show up? And normally we can say, yeah, okay, here's how it can show up. So you reduce or relax your filters and it will show up. The problem is that there could be a lot of other ones that show up that you don't care about. So yeah, sometimes it's frustrating when one moves and you don't see it in a certain window that you've constructed. But it's just, you know, it's just, there's always going to be a trade-off. All right, just this is the one that I actually swung. It is looking not too bad again. Like a lot of the stocks, this is the IPO from Friday. I'm sorry, from Thursday. Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, today, Monday. Yes, and YJ, yeah, that's an IPO from last week, actually from Friday. So it is starting to, that's the top here, topping tail is right at 1816. If you're new to this, if you're new today to the room, first of all, big welcome. If you're new to the room, either just because you're new to the room or you're new also because you're in the test drive, we really are focusing a lot on the IPOs. Not so much trading them on the day of, but following them over the following week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks sometimes. We're in a hot IPO market right now. Exactly, Vicky. That's the what Vicky cross on deck in the off-topic section. It's very important to know, because just like you guys, I started out as a subscriber many years ago, and I had probably 40 windows open because I did not want to miss any type of a setup. Nothing was going to escape me. And that's great. Problem is you get nothing done. All you're doing is clicking on the symbols all day long, and you're getting nothing done. It's too overwhelming. So, you know, I have a few more windows here than I normally would, only because I am, you know, trying to demonstrate the power of the program. I probably would only have maybe 3, 4 max, and just concentrate on those. You can kind of figure out what you do best. I'm more of a momentum trader, so I like to see it when stocks are breaking to new highs or lows. Out of a pattern, though. You know, I'm not a great pullback player. Some people are great at pullbacks. You know, they see the pullback and they figure out, they kind of have a way of maybe estimating, okay, maybe the pullback's over. Now it'll start to move again. So you have to really find your trading style. Yeah, IMGN, exactly, IMGN. So I have the 2-bar pullback on the 5s. Please, I just want to ask a question here. Guys, what are you seeing for the comp right now, the NAS, in terms of what it is? How much down, how far down is it? Not percentage-wise. I just want a confirmation of something. 110? Okay. Thank you. I must be I must be on delayed data then in IB. You notice well, maybe not, or it's just not updating quickly enough. You notice we are, what do you have now? The reason I'm asking is that we've added these. This is in a development version that I have, and I'm just trying to make sure this is real time. You see, it's 1/3, but it's going to, you know, it is going to change. I don't know if this is sort of like a top list that gets updated every 30 seconds, or 114. Yeah, I got 114.98 right there, and the Dow is down 303. Okay, so okay, I'm told that this should be real time. Okay, okay, so it's every 10 seconds. Okay. It's got the word. So this is something we just added in a development version that I have right now. I don't know when it'll be released to you guys, but so this is basically like our charts. You know, the charts refresh every 10 seconds. So I mean, that's not the end of the world, certainly with the indexes. Okay, so there are only three Holly alerts. Holly's very quiet so far. Say the Neo's the only one that really interested me, and it's not really hasn't really moved yet. Where do you see the alerts in the web-based version? Are you talking about Holly? Yeah, you have to click on the new and then channel bar, and then I'm surprised. I thought the Omni channel was available, which would allow you to open all three Hollies at once. Otherwise, you know, you'll have to open them individually. So right now, there's nothing in Holly Grail. There's one in Holly 2.0, and so I asked you. You have to use the web-based version. Is there a reason? Is there a reason for that? Are you on a Mac or something? Or okay, well, we got to fix that. You can't seem to get the app downloaded. All right. So you clicked on this. You clicked on the download TI Pro or Beta. If you click on the subscriptions link and click on TI Pro or Beta, when you click on that, do you not get this? And then really, I mean, it should be this simple, just to click on download now. If you're able to download the web-based version, download now. Well, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do it, of course, but download now, and that should be it. If you are still having difficulties, I suggest you go to the, because I don't know how else, I don't know how I can help you. I would go to the home page and start a live discussion. Whoops, start a live discussion with the guys. Okay, guys, I'm having a, just give me a second here. Okay. Now, by the way, we are in this test drive, which basically gives you access to our full premium service for 5 trading days. All right. Now, most of the people were signed up last week, and their 5 days will be Monday to Friday this week. If you are still interested in taking the test drive, you can still do it. What I would do is I would wait for the market to close today. I mean, if you want to start it right away, you'll just won't get obviously the full 5 days. You'll get the balance of today plus 4 days. If you want to get 5 full days, wait for the market to close today and then sign up for it. And you will get 5 full days, Tuesday to Friday plus Monday of next week. Okay? And Just want to put it right here, get the link here, put it into the room. Okay, so there's the test drive link. So again, if you want to get 5 full days, then wait for the market to close today, sign up for it, and then you'll get 5 full days starting tomorrow, right? You can actually do that all the way up to Wednesday. So what I mean by that is that you do it up to Wednesday. So you wait for the market to close on Wednesday, and then you'd get Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. And then that's over. We do this 4 times a year. All right, guys, as I say, I'm more busy, obviously more busy trying to help people here than trading. So please feel free to ask me questions. I'll do the best I can. If I can't answer them, I'll send you to the home page where we have some technical people there who are willing and able to help you sort some technical issues you may be having. Yeah, these IPOs are still astonishingly strong. Look at Zoom here, almost a lifetime high. I mean, again, this opened 3 weeks ago. Just fantastic IPO. Yeah, Blinn isn't dead. Not by a long shot. Super low float, guys. If you're wondering why these things can happen, you're not familiar with the concept of the float at all, just so you know, the float is essentially the number of shares that are available for trading. So what happens is, if you go to a company's website, or even what we have here, we'll show how many shares are outstanding. And then what you start to do is you start to subtract what mutual funds, insiders, the CEO, etc., what they all own, and you subtract, and that's when you get the float. Now, with these little ones, it's not like mutual funds or anything like that are involved. But the bottom line is this: is that the lower the float, and this is an insanely low float, even if it's not exactly correct, it's very difficult sometimes to get a true float figure with these stocks that do multiple reverse splits. But whatever that number is, it's going to be low. Whether it's exactly 151,000, it's going to be very low. That is insanely low, okay, if it is truly that. That's why you can get moves like this, because basically what happens is if you have demand for whatever reason, and you have low supply, high demand, this is what happens. I use my analogy. I haven't used my old real estate analogy for a while, but imagine you're trying to sell your home, and you're in say a cul-de-sac with 100 other homes, and you are the only one selling your home, and you're asking $500,000 for your home. You're the only one selling, and for whatever reason, your home is just getting a lot of attention. You've got 20 buyers lined up for your home. What's going to happen? You get into a bidding war, a feeding frenzy. That 500,000 you're asking for probably starts just accelerating as people keep bidding it higher and higher. All right? Well, okay, cul-de-sac. I thank you, real man. All right, an area with 100 homes that is sort of isolated. How's that? So the float basically is your home. You're the only one out there trying to sell. That's the supply, and the demand for whatever reason is huge. All the buyers coming in. So that's why, of course, the price of your property will probably increase. Now flip it. You got those 100 people again. Now all of a sudden there are 30 people trying to sell all at once for whatever reason. You know, there's a they found out that it's there's a gas leak or something, and it is going to last forever. So they're all trying to sell, and only one person wants. There's only one person who's willing to buy. What's going to happen? Everybody, you're trying to sell your property for $500,000. What's going to happen? It's going to sink, right? If you want to sell, you'll keep lowering your price. So that's in essence what the float is all about. That's the supply. So the lower the supply, so the lower that number is, and if the demand is there, that's when you get these insane, you can get these insane moves. Okay, you found out it was built on an old nuclear power plant waste, or the waste from a nuclear power plant. Somehow nobody knew until today. But just be aware, of course, that with these low floats, the minute there's any sort of selling, a little bit of selling that starts taking place, you know, the drop can be worse than the rise. So just be completely aware. Okay, how about my gated community where we have 50 properties in my gated community? How's that? I'll use that as my analogy from now on. Yeah, so RBI. So let me load it. I'll load the RBI 5 and I'll talk about it. And I'll load the GBI 5 and I'll talk about it. All right, so RBI, red bar ignored. And let's see if we get some. We will get some, but you know, nothing yet, but I'll go over what it means, especially once we get one. See if we can find one. Just okay, so if you look right here on the weekly chart, this is almost because it doesn't matter the time frame. Let's see if I can find something a little bit better. Yeah, look at Sabre, straight down, guys. No, you can't. There's no history. There's no history with the RBI guys. Just okay. This would have been except. Come on, somebody out there. Can you do you have one? Doesn't matter the time frame. Trying to find a good one that illustrates it. Okay, so this is an example of a red bar ignored. All right. So now, in fact, let me see. We just got a couple here. Let's see if they how good they look. All right. So I don't, you know, there's some bottoming tails and topping tails here, but this is what it looks like. The way we've got it structured here is you need at least 4 green candles, all right, to establish the trend. Now you don't have to do that. This is just how our RBI is constructed. Otherwise, we can probably get too many of them. And then you see how there's that red candle there, and it's totally engulfed by the previous green candle. The minute, if that next candle starts out green and moves above the high of that red candle, which is 115.02, you know it, you get a real-time alert. that that's what happened. 1:15:03. All right. And they put the stop at the bottom of the red candle. It's a guide. I mean, you don't have to use that as a stop, but so here, let's see if this one is. Yeah, I see. Unfortunately, some of them look a little crazy. This is not a good example. And then also dojis are considered. But that's the idea, though. I mean, this is, you know, this is definitely an example, though. You can see it. So you have the uptrend. You see the red candle there engulf. The concept being red bar ignored, a momentary pause in the uptrend. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to continue, but you will get a real-time alert, and then it's up to you whether you want to trade it or not. This is just pattern recognition. All right? And on the flip side, this is better. So you can see on the flip side, you know, so there is the trend down. We have 4 red candles. Then we have the green candle completely engulfed by the previous red candle. Then a red candle forms, and if it moves down below the low of that green candle, you'll get an alert. That should be 66.68. There it is. So again, so it's just a flip, downtrend, momentary pause, trend continues. It's pattern recognition, though, right? It doesn't mean these are not. It's not like it's back tested and such that, you know, this is that you can absolutely be guaranteed, of course, that just because that is a green bar ignored, that it's going to continue down in any significant fashion. It's pattern recognition. After that, you know, I'd be looking at the weekly chart, the daily chart to see what sort of room there is. I gotta look. MBRX, are you over 160? Berlin, is it halted again? Yeah, halted again, 1028. Well, now why'd you make me look at MBRX? All right, so what does the multi-strategy window do? There was a question there. Okay, let me bring out one. Basically, the multi-strategy window is used by most people probably to conserve screen space. All right, if it's kind of tight, I got 3 monitors. I don't absolutely have to use a multi-strategy window. I choose to sometimes when I want to group some strategies together. But basically, you can take an alert window. You can take all your alert windows if you wanted and put them into the multi-strategy window. All these 2 are set. If I can just open them, you see this is just an alert window. That's all it is. Okay, so I just opened the second one. I don't know where it went on my other monitor. So it's just a matter of you can take as many alert windows as you want and put them into a multi-strategy window. You would just see them all lining up underneath. So these are just individual alert windows, and you can just, again, usually it's because people don't have a lot of screen space. That's why they use it. Now I can show you how to create them. It's very simple. Wanted to start from scratch. This is what I would do. So let's just say, for argument's sake, I wanted to take these 2 alert windows and put them into a multi-strategy window. How I do it is I just start off by copying the first one. And so it's right-click, collaborate, copy. So I've copied this. And I click on New, Multi-Strategy Window. Okay, so now I've got a new multi-strategy window. Nothing's in it. I right-click. I hover over Strategies. I hover over New Strategy. All these boxes pop up. And then I collaborate and paste. Done. See, there it is right there. So now I can do the same thing with the next one. Notice how it's named, Gap Up. So I just right click, collaborate, copy. Right click, hover over strategies. These keep popping up. Hover over new strategy, collaborate, paste. There it is. So now I've got my gap up and my gap down into the multi-strategy window. And I can color coordinate this so that, you know, if I want, my eye wants to, in fact, if your screen space is a real problem, I mean, you don't even need the strategy name in theory. If I said to myself, okay, gap up, I go to properties, I'm sorry, hover over the strategy, gap up, and where it says colors, so I said, okay, keep my background white, my foreground will be green. That doesn't look that good, so maybe I'll make the background black. Okay. So now I know, you know, because green to me is up. I don't even need then to even have the strategy name. I know this is the gap up. And I do the same thing with the gap down, colors, choose whatever I want. Okay, a black background, say a yellow foreground. Say okay. Now I've got, so I know yellow is down, I know green is up. So it makes it visually, it makes it easier to discern, you know, what's happening. Now, understand also, there's a lot to take in here. We don't expect anybody on the test drive. We don't expect you to be a Trade Ideas expert after 5 days. I'm certainly not an expert. I've been with them since 2010, you know, just as a subscriber, just started out as a subscriber. But, you know, you learn stuff all the time. So certainly after 5 days, you will not be an expert. However, this room is like this every single day. It's a free room. I open the room every day at 9 o'clock. I go up to 3:30 Mondays to Thursdays and up to 3 o'clock on Fridays. We have webinars, 4 of them a week. At 5 o'clock, I'll actually start looking, showing the links. And we have training Monday to Thursday at noon Eastern. So we really do try to really support the product. You know, just not leave you on your own. Okay? No, well, indeed. Okay, so typically what I do around 10:30 every day is I go over the links. So let me just give me a second here. Okay, so if you are a subscriber to Trade Ideas right now, again, if you click on that Room Drive icon, looks like a half open folder, looks like it's probably beside my name. Just click on it and scans that I share. And there's actually a layout there too, which has not all these windows. It's a little, it's sort of an abbreviated layout that you can take a look at. I actually can show it a little bit later, but if you click on the download link, there was a layout there, but also all the individual windows. And why I've done it that way, because not everybody wants everything that's in my layout. So I basically created all the individual windows so you can kind of pick and choose. Hopefully I've named them, you know, gap down, gap up, low floaters on the move, so it kind of makes sense. So you can kind of pick and choose which ones you want. All right. The links. So if you wanted to take out a subscription right now to Trade Ideas, there is a promo code. If you click on, you go up to the alert section, there's a promo code right there, Barry for Alpha, all in capital letters. It'd be an instant 15% savings off the first month only, or the entire year of a Trade Ideas subscription. All right. This is how much Trade Ideas costs. So our standard yearly plan is $1068 a year minus the 15%, and our premium is $2268 a year minus the 15%. The big difference is Holly. This one is maybe going to get my interest in the price range I like, the SESN, to take a look at it in a little bit. But that is the big difference, all right? Now, if you're unsure, I mean, I would never hop into a yearly plan. You know, try us out, standard monthly. $118 a month minus the 15%. $228 minus the 15%. Again, only for the first month. The good news is that today is May the 6th. If you decide that by June the 5th that you'd like to upgrade from standard to premium or from monthly to yearly, you can do so and we'll honor the promo code. I'm now going to go over our Brokerage Plus. Oops, in here. So first thing to know is that Brokerage Plus costs right now $1,100 minus that 15%, all right? And it's a lifetime license. What does that mean? It means that if you unsubscribe from Trade Ideas and then you resubscribe at a later date, Brokerage Plus is still waiting there for you. It's a one-time license fee. Now, right now, the only way you can use Brokerage Plus is if you have an broker's account and you need our premium service. We are looking down the road to add more brokerage platforms to the mix. I cannot tell you which ones or when that will be. So right now, in order to use Brokerage Plus, you'll need an interactive broker's account and our premium service, okay? So what is it? So basically, you know, if you have interactive brokers right now, of course you can use their order entry, all right? This is, you know, a much more pleasing way to handle your order entries all day long, all right? They buy and sell buttons here. At its simplest level, if I click on an alert, it's going to load here. I can pick how many shares I want. You'll see the bid ask. You can choose how you want to trade it, either sell or buy, all right? These are some hotkeys we've developed for you. Flatten gets you out of a position, or you can pick multiple positions. Each one of these, you can pick multiples. Flatten, get out half position. You can double your position. This one is kind of cool. It reverses. So if you're short, you can now go long. If you're long, you can now go short. I would just caution you, be completely aware of what the spread is. If you don't know what I'm talking about in terms of the spread, then I would not use that feature, all right? But it is very cool if you do instantly want to go long to short or short to long. That's the simplest way to use. The next level would be this. You click on an alert, say, yep, I'd like to trade it. Ahead of time, you can set up your own buying and shorting parameters. You just pick how you want to trade it, and of course it'll show up in the window here. This is great if you're an active trader. Like, I'm not a very active trader. I know it may sound crazy. I'm a moderator of a trading room, but I may only trade 4 or 5 times a day anyway, and typically I only have at most 2 trades open at a time. So, but if I were a more active trader, 8, 10, 15 positions open, this would be a wonderful way to track all my positions, a very aesthetically pleasing way to do it. There is a way in which you can auto trade. If you have, you can create your own alert window, your own strategy. You can back test it. And if you're so confident that every time a symbol showed up that it would bypass basically this step, having to pick how you want to trade it, that it would auto trade it, you can do so. You know, but I mean, you have to be very, very confident in your strategy. And yes, you can auto trade Holly. I would caution you to auto trade Holly. If you're bound and determined to do it, I would watch that webinar that Brad and Dan, co-founders of Trade Ideas, they did this early February. I've entitled it Managing Your Expectations of Auto Trading Holly. All right. This is a link that shows you what Holly is all about. Basically, what Holly does, she has about, I don't know how many strategies there are now, I'm going to say, but there are at least 50 what we call baseline strategies. So if this were one of them, this is not one of them, but if this were one of them, here are the filters I have in this, in the low floaters on the move. Now the Holly strategies will have way more filters. So what Holly will do at the end of today, once the market is closed, she'll be able to work with the latest market data, and she would take a look at each filter, and she might make an adjustment. Well, what happens if I change that to 1 in 10 instead of 50 cents and $10? I'll run the back tester and see what happens to the profit factor and win percentage. Okay, and now typically, I see these have snuck in here. Typically, once she runs through all of the 50 strategy, and by the way, she could actually take a filter out and add a filter in. So you can imagine, even with one strategy, to adjust filter values or add filters and subtract filters and run the back tester over and over and over again, it would take a long time. That's why most people do not do this. It's only a very few of our customers that actually have strategy they back test and run with. But at the end of the routine, going through all 50 strategies, then tomorrow we'll be presented with the ones that, as I call it, made the cut. Typically making the cut means a profit factor of at least 2 and a win percentage of at least 60. I noticed that these are slightly under. So we don't know which ones are going to make the cut tomorrow because Holly will use today's market data. So that is basically what Holly goes through every day. If you want to see what the description of all the strategies are, you can click on that. So what is downward dog looking for? What is little big guy? What is it looking for? So you can click on that and it's going to tell you. Again, I mentioned about the training, Monday to Thursday at noon Eastern. You can sign up for it there. The webinars, Monday to Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern. They're all archived. Sign up for them there. You should have the latest version of Trade Ideas, which is 5.2.74. Sorry, 4.2.74. If you don't know what you have, just click on Help and About. Now, I'm on a development version, but 4.2.74 is available to you. Why should you have that? Well, if you want monthly and weekly charts, see the time frame, monthly and weekly charts, you need that version. The other reason you should have it, see if there's anything that's been acted on yet, not yet. You see, okay. So here's one, the stop got hit. So there's Zyme, all right? So the entry was at 1944. Let me back this out a little bit so we can see it. So you can see with the Holly alerts, you see in the y-axis, you see the actual alert price, and there's the stop. All right. So Holly got stopped out. 1917 was the stop. Now we do have kind of a cool thing. We have what's called the re-entry. If Holly gets back to 1930, where's she right now? At 1922. Now this is not highly scientific, but there's the entry. There's the entry at 1944, and there's the stop, 1917. Halfway between is 1930. So that price is established because it's just simple math, okay? If Holly gets back to 1930, you will see a trigger. You'll get an alert again, and you'll see the reentry time. There'll be a new stop price. So this gives you another opportunity to get into the trade. So the theory being is, well, maybe Holly was a little bit early on this. Maybe the market conditions, not that I can see that happened on this one, but maybe just a little bit early, and so it gives you another opportunity. And so you'll get that alert. So that's why you should have, if you have Holly, if you have our premium service, that's why you should have the latest version of Trade Ideas, which is 4.74. You can take out a demo of Trade Ideas. You know, it gives you an idea about what it is. I mean, it's a 15-minute delayed. You don't have charts, you don't have Holly, you don't have a lot of things, but at least it gives you an idea of what alerts and filters we do have. I do a daily video between 1:50 and 1:45 every day. Probably won't do a video today and tomorrow because I more than likely won't be trading. Brokerage Plus, I've already gone over Brokerage Plus. Trade of the week is sent to you before the market opens every Monday morning. Today was TEL. And these are meant to be longer term trades. You trade them as you see fit, but it's a free service. We're getting rid of the concept of having 3 different Hollies. Hopefully that's relatively soon. I've been lobbying for it. Well, I've been lobbying for the ability to choose. You know, I've always just wanted one big Holly because I sort on the risk on profit percent column all day long. Then I can see which ones are the best performing right at the top here. See if they're still setting up, even if I don't get into the trade immediately. You know, they can still be setting up all day long. So that's why I like to sort on this column. And makes it a lot easier if I just have one big window. And I've been told that that is definitely going to happen. I'm just not sure exactly when. And what else? That's about it. Okay, so that, and again, just keep asking me questions. Okay, so the promo code right now, it's not just for premium. It's for the service. It's not just for premium. Just a second here. Okay, there's the. So it's not just for premium. It's for our standard service. Guys, just remember now, we do have the swing channel or swing tab. You guys want to talk about swing trading? You can go in there and talk about swing trading. We know that's pretty popular. Okay, I put a link in here. This is the trend reversal link. You know, these are looking for stocks that have been kind of beaten up and maybe trying to reverse. And, you know, it's a matter of looking at it at each symbol and checking to see what sort of big gap there is on the daily and the weekly chart to see if there's a lot of room. So again, we created this on Friday. So if you have ideas, all I would ask is that if you have an idea, don't just don't type in a symbol. You know, maybe you don't have to War and Peace it, but just some information about why you think it might be an interesting swing trade. All right. Yeah, you don't need Brokerage Plus to swing trade. You don't need Brokerage Plus if you have IB. You know, it's just, you know, obviously it's a more attractive way to order entry and all that, but you don't, you know, you don't absolutely have to have it. So I mean, swinging is up to you. Okay, I mean, it's got nothing to do with IB. I mean, Trade Ideas links with many brokerage platforms. You know, we have a link tool. If you click on the tools and external linking, you know, we link with Interactive Brokers, of course, but we link with many brokerage platforms. Linking meaning that when you click on a symbol, it'll load into your order entry. It has nothing to do with auto trading. It's just that it saves you the step of having to type the symbol into your order entry in your brokerage platform. So, I mean, your question really has got nothing to do with IB Workstation, Brokerage Plus. I'm just going to look at a couple of these just to see if there's anything that is kind of setting up. You'll see what these are looking for. They're not all. So if you look, and again, this is not a recommendation to swing, right? But when you start to see charts that look a little bit like this, and this is a biotech, so I mean they can be tricky. But when you start to see charts that look a little bit like this, sort of beaten up and starting to come back, this is not ideal because the 200-day is up there, moving average, so it's not that far away. But when you start to see charts that have bigger gaps, and maybe trying to come back, that's when if you're a swing trader, you probably should get a little interest in those. Yeah, so these are just the only reason you see these is this trading room platform. No way that I can sort of segment my screen off to only show you is in the other room we have. I could partition the screen, but I can't. I have to show you my entire monitor. So I'm trying to hide these, but these are just thumbnail charts. All right. I mean, these are just new chart window. That's all they are. So why do I thumbnail these? A lot of these may have been the stocks that were active in the pre-market. So I'll thumbnail them so I can kind of keep an eye on them. But there's no other magic to them, if that makes sense. Guys, what do you have for the comp right now? Is it about 78 down? 78 down? Okay, so I'm obviously on a, not that it matters. I don't really pay that much attention to those things, but I'm looking. I must be on a delayed basis at IB, which is okay. Now, this is yeah. Brad told me that this is basically updated every 10 seconds. Is fine. So they may up it a bit, but I mean, it's not critical. Oh, back testing above. I think it actually, I believe, I may be wrong, I'm not a back testing expert, but I believe there's a cap at 100. I believe on an individual strategy. I may be wrong. Let me just, I don't back test anymore. I mean, I haven't back tested for years. So I'm just asking the question. I'm sure you can set it to a specific number, but well, that's somebody who back hits a lot more than I do. I'm just getting the answer. 100 is the max. I'm just trying to, he may have, so 100 is the max. Yeah, I'm just I'm just finding out if you can set a max. And the answer is just a minute. He's just answering me. As I'm waiting for him to answer. So the market is obviously putting in a nice little rebound here after the initial, the China news. You can see there in the pre-market, but the market opened nicely, a little bit of a base, and now another move. So I'm still, he's not understanding